Essentially, when I start, I don't have a very specific idea. I start with sort of mostly color. I'm very influenced by the emotional range that's in color. So I can feel like I can say a lot, and color kind of determines the kind of shapes I make, and the sense of even though there's no immediate narrative, I feel there's a personal narrative that ultimately it's not terribly important whether other people get it the way I do. I think I would actually, my preference is to make work that other people would make their own. You know, they would look at it and extrapolate what they felt was important rather than me directing it. I don't want to hit people on the head with a hammer and say, this is what you're supposed to get from this, because it's not really like that, because I think we all come to things in very different ways. So, and over the years, time has become a really big issue in the work because of the drying time, and so I can change work and improve it, or what I think is improving it. Sometimes it's the opposite. It's not always improving. Sometimes you go through rough periods when the work is struggling, and I feel that the struggle needs to be visible in the work. I really believe in the anxiety of an object, you know, the sense that something happened while it shouldn't be slick. I think a lot of contemporary work is very shiny and slick and uncomfortable for me. I feel like it's important to show the struggle, because it's not, being an artist and trying to come up with something interesting is actually extremely difficult, because it's such a vast history of really amazing work. So to try to be painting is absurd in some sense, you know, 'cause most people probably feel like it's all been said already, you know, but I kind of feel like what I've said is different because I'm different. So it's important for me as a human being, or probably healing. As a child, I think it was important to me to make art just because I felt like I fit in, because everybody else in the family was totally into sports, and it was just a very different kind of attitude going on. So I felt comfortable drawing or hiding away, you know. So that's kind of that was the beginning of this kind of thinking, and now it seems to propel itself. You know, there's a kind of sense that because other people respond to it, then it's interesting to do it, and I wouldn't know what else to do actually. So that's kind of how it evolved. But I think time is really a big factor, because you can almost encapsulate time by doing something, and then a week later you're a very different person. You experience things, and what you've experienced or what life has brought you in some strange osmosis kind of process goes into the work. You can't hide anything. One could say the same about music, I think. You know, you're on 2 days, you might try to play the same music, but it won't be the same. You're just experiencing it differently. So some days the work doesn't look appealing, and I don't know what to do, but I work anyway because I don't know what else to do. So, and I think I feel proud that I've been able to kind of put the struggle in the work and leave it in the work, and have people experience the work as something that's not slick and distant from them, you know. I don't want to create work that people can't identify with, you know, because it is difficult. Anything good that anybody wants to do is usually a huge struggle. Somehow it looks easy when it's in print and everybody looks at it and gets excited or whatever, but ultimately it's still very hard to put yourself on the line. So And all the paintings have their own character, I think, because you identify with either the format or the sense of the color in it, when it started and what evolved. Even though they might be in the same time frame, they still kind of occupy a slightly different place, even though I like to think of them as being sort of connected, but sometimes they're more connected than other times, and I'm okay with that. I don't. And that's become easier, because 20 years ago it was much more difficult when art was more formula or formalistic, where people had a very given style and they couldn't deviate from that. I think now we're in a time when almost any kind of painting is acceptable, as long as it's good painting, whatever that means. And I don't actually have a bias. I don't see realist painting as less or more, or I don't, even though I work like this, probably work I like is not at all like this. So I don't have that kind of sense that art is one kind of project.
Well, this is what's an important question. One more. It looks like everywhere. But typically it's good to look back. Once that became the studio, and there's this guy, seen it by car. Walk down and
When was this decision in the works?
It's coming along several months. Finally we said, okay, enough of it, time already.
I remember you, Mary.
Yes,
This is
hello.
Mary and Bernard.
I think we still would have.
And you can see many different compositions and pictures all together. We don't get this kind of communication. That's what painting has been very special. Like you can see by that piece has everything in there. Because of that. Yeah.
Harold Klunder is one of the most interesting painters in Canada right now. What I find fascinating is his very thick paint that has a very tactile quality, and the forms almost come alive and morph. Incredible color.
I'm at the Winchester Gallery, and I'm here looking at Harold Klunder's paintings. I've known Harold Klunder for a number of years, and I've seen him for a while. He's located in Montreal, but looking at Harold's work is this particular show is an exciting show. It's rich with color, and colors are intense. And as usual, Harold's very consistent about everything he does, and his work has always had these particular characteristics that only Harold can express in the manner that he does. The colors are beautiful. The paintings are intense, and they're a pleasure to look at, and people should see this show. It's a very fine show.